Terence, so thank you so much for joining us at our very first Serious Social Investing workshop.
Right.
For people who weren't in the session, can you briefly describe what your most important message was?
Well, the most important message, I suppose, maybe an outline of what we did is probably the way to go, is Tshikululu sponsored a huge research project that we did on the frequency and role of community trusts, or what is being called community trusts, in BEE transactions. So we find that a lot of nowadays it's ubiquitous. Any BEE transaction of any note includes in the BEE consortium a trust vehicle. So shares go to the trust vehicle, and that trust vehicle is supposed to then spend the dividend revenue on development. Usually it benefits a particular group of people, a community, however they might define that, or you also get employee and workers' trusts. So the research was about the findings, or the presentation was about the findings of that research.
Okay, fantastic. And there was a question, I believe, in the session about why use the specific term previously disadvantaged individuals.
Sure. So what we did was we called it, the title of the research now is has the phrase in it, PDI beneficiary trusts, looking at the frequency and role of PDI beneficiary trusts in BE transactions. The reason we use the term PDI beneficiary trusts, and it's up for review, is that there are a number of different types of trusts that qualify for the kind of thing we were looking at. And those would include what is commonly called a community trust, but there are different types of community trusts too, and employee trusts and workers' trusts. So we just came up with a phrase, a hold-all category for that. We called it PDI beneficiary trusts, but someone pointed out that it might not be the best term for it. So
it's a working type.
It's a working, it's a working phrase.
And I believe another question from the session was the ultimate output of the research, and perhaps we can talk about what we're hoping to achieve through the research and whether you feel that we have achieved that.
All right. Well, what we're hoping to achieve through the research is to get some idea of what the frequency of trust vehicles, the occurrence of trust vehicles, is in BE transactions. What we found is there's no academic literature on this issue, and our sense was that the frequency of BE trusts, or trusts in BE transactions, is very, very high. It's become very high, and that is in fact the finding, is that any BE transaction nowadays of any note includes some form of trust vehicle. So we wanted to establish that. And then we had a sense from our experience in the field that a lot of these trust vehicles are heavily challenged in terms of their functionality. They don't work very well. And a number of them we know for a fact are stagnant, are not working at all. So the reason they were set up, which is to developmentally benefit some beneficiary group, that's not happening. And we wanted to get to the bottom of that. So it was really three questions. How often do we see these trust vehicles? Now we see them all the time. How many of them are working? Well, we don't have the answer to that question yet, because that's going to involve a heck of a lot more research. And then what keeps them from working well? And we have quite a lot of data on that. So those are I guess the three research questions we were trying to answer, and I'm fairly satisfied that we've got a lot of good stuff on two of them.